Hi, hello. My name is Gomer Joseph. I hope we've all been having a great day so far. Welcome back to another True Crime Tuesdays video. If you are new, I welcome you. Before I discuss today's case, I would like to mention my Christian suspense book series, Never As It Seems. The first book in the series is available on Amazon, and you can read it on any device on the Kindle app. But you can also get it for free if you have Kindle Unlimited. Kindle Unlimited is like this streaming service for books on Amazon. You can get a 30-day free trial or get a 2-month free trial for 99 cents, which will later turn into a $9.99 monthly fee. The link will be in the description box if you are interested. Today, I'll be discussing the mysterious death of Abe Dabela. And let me tell you, this case was very mysterious as to why his death was ruled something else. This just gives me cover-up vibes, and I'm certain it will give you that too. Abe was someone who had a promising future, but for some reason it was taken away. Now, I encourage you all to do your own research with this case and not to just look at my video for all of the information. Here we go. I believe Abe Dabela was born around 1979. I do know that he died in 2014 at the age of 34, but Abe was born and grew up in Maryland to parents Abraham and Ellen Dabela. I do also know that he had two sisters. Abe was described as someone who was gifted, talented, talkative, and easy to talk with, always spoke his mind, ambitious, lovable, kind, loved having a great time, a positive person. He did well in school. He enjoyed, civil debates, and eventually, with that type of personality, he eventually earned a degree in law. And sometime after he had this career in law, he started his own private law practice in Reading, Connecticut. But during law school, he met a Lauren drinker and began dating her. But, after school with this private law firm, he did have success. And, despite the success and the ability to get along with those in the community, there were others who didn't seem as welcoming. Reading, Connecticut was a mostly white neighborhood, and there were certain people who found it hard to believe that this black man could be this successful lawyer and could talk well. He told this to his parents, and of course, they were concerned for his well being. Abe was pro Second Amendment, like myself, and for some reason, the police were making it hard for him to legally carry a pistol. And like when I was seeing this, I'm like thinking to myself, like, is this Jim Crow or something? Like, first of all, Abe is, a law abiding lawyer, and Abe clearly had no prior arrest or like no prior trouble with the law, so there was no reason why he should have been denied the right to protect himself. And from what it sounded like, he needed to be careful in this area where people supposedly didn't like him because of his skin color and success. On April 5th, 2014, a little after 12 a.m., Abe got this strange text message saying, "Turn, he just didn't." And he was at the Samuel Adams bar. To this day, no one knows what this text was even about. When he left that bar, Abe drove off, and about an hour later, a car was discovered overturned in a ditch. This was Abe's car, and he was found inside, no longer living. And the sad thing is that he wasn't that far away from his house, and not only was his death a clear devastation, but the strange thing is that Abe suffered 2 gunshot wounds in the back of his head. I usually don't go into specifics about somebody's murders on my videos, but before an investigation and an autopsy was done, and you'd think there would be further investigation and an autopsy, the police announced that it didn't seem like anyone was involved. Like, I don't understand that. Like, how? Like, how, Swag? Like, you mean to tell me that for some reason Abe decided to shoot himself in the back of his head twice while he was driving? Y'all, that's not even the worst part. The police didn't even tell Abe's own family that he was dead. Abe's landlady had to be the one to call his family, and obviously they were heartbroken and shocked, but at least they got the news from a phone call instead of hearing about their son's death on TV or in some newspaper. At that time, his parents thought it was just a car accident and didn't know anything about the gunshot wounds. The medical examiner was the one who informed his family about the gunshot wounds, but the news told them about the suicide ruling. And clearly, like all of us common sense people, his family didn't believe this was suicide either. But the police tried to explain the suicide by telling his family that Abe was ashamed he got into a car crash and was drinking before. And still, why would he shoot himself in the back of his head twice? Abe's girlfriend, Lauren, wasn't getting any phone calls or messages from him, so she knew that something was wrong and eventually got word from a friend about his passing, and like Abe's family, was angry about the suicide ruling. Now let's get back to that text that Abe got the morning of his death. For some reason, it was deleted while his phone was in police custody. Sketchy! When defense attorney Solomon Radner looked into the case, he discovered that a motorist who called 911 to report an overturned car, and for some reason, this motorist hung up without giving their name and didn't even stop to see if the driver was okay. Now, once again, there were gunshot wounds to the head, and it was on the left side of Abe's head, but Abe was right-handed. What's even more sketchy is that Abe's fingerprints weren't even on the trigger. So I'm like, do the police think that he had gloves on for some reason to just go ahead and shoot himself in the back of the head? But even though his DNA wasn't on the trigger, somebody else's DNA was on the trigger. And unfortunately, that DNA is completely unknown. And 4 days after Abe's death, the bullet was found. And I'm trying to go ahead and ask myself, how come this bullet wasn't found the first day that they were looking through the vehicle and everything around it? There was even hair found and a muddy footprint on the back of Abe's jacket, and those weren't even looked into. And the Reading police, of course, denies all this sketchy detail. But yet, there's documents stating that these details are actual facts. So yeah, I'm still stuck on the fact that it's almost been 7 years that Abe's death was still ruled a suicide. And this really seems like a cover-up, and it's just awful that Abe's loved ones can't get the closure that they need. With all of the information I gathered, you'd think that Abe's death would be ruled a murder, but for some reason it's not. Like, my prayers go out to Abe's loved ones, and they're still searching for answers and literally fighting for them. Once again, Abe had such a bright future ahead of him, but the sketchy death took all that away. The God that I serve, the God of the Bible, is a God of justice, and if Abe needs justice, he will make sure that justice is served. I thank you all for taking the time in your day to watch this video. If you did like this video, please hit the like button. If you do have any thoughts on this case, please leave your thoughts in the comment section. If you'd like to see more videos from me, please feel free to subscribe and click the bell to be notified about the next video. If there's a certain true crime case that you'd like me to cover, go ahead and let me know. I'll see y'all for the next True Crime Tuesdays, and I'll talk to y'all later.